I'm Chuck from Elephant Racing, and today we're going to take a look at this early 911. This car has a full suspension restoration package on it, as well as our 930 ERX brake upgrade, and it's got our ST oil cooler package, and we're going to take a quick step through each of these. Now, while these products are all from Elephant Racing, we didn't actually do the installation of the suspension or the oil cooling system here. It was done by Scott Longballa up in the Portland area. Scott does restorations of these early cars, and he's done a great job on this one, and you'll see that. If you want something similar, look up Scott yourself, and he can do one for you. This car came to us with the parts installed, and it had parts that Scott had sourced from us. Pretty much a straight restoration package. And you can see it's beautifully done underneath. The control arms have all been powder coated in the cross member. Everything looks fresh. And it's got standard rubber bushing replacements, which just restore it back to normal. The car does carry slightly larger torsion bars, and that's a very popular upgrade when doing restorations. Even though it's not strictly original, it's a better match with modern performance radial tires. And so a lot of people will go with a modestly upgraded torsion bar, something that still gives good ride quality, yet enhances the handling and performance a bit. And that's certainly what happened on this car. And you can see it has, this car has raised spindle struts on it. And these appear to be, these are the refurbed or brand new struts. Certainly these are Bilstein HDs, which would be a good match for the modestly upgraded torsion bars. It's got turbo tie rods, and you can see the stock sway bar is still in place. Everything's been restored and fresh, new drop links. You can still see the stickers on it. They don't come, the decals don't come that way when the car's new, but the replacement parts do. That's how you can tell. Let's take a look at the back. So out back, it's got the original steel trailing arms, and these have also been powder coated and restored along with the cross member here for the transmission. Again, slightly upgraded torsion bars to match what was done in the front. And these are Bilstein HD Shocks, a good match for the torsion bars that went into the car. Everything's fresh, everything's restored. This is a really tidy job, looks great. Original type sway bar, and you can see the black and the CAD plated hardware, which of course is how it came original from the factory. The trailing arms have been restored with our Sport Hardness front rubber bushings, and you can kind of see them poking out here. These are pressed in. The Sport Hard are very popular. They're still rubber, but they're a little firmer than stock, so they deliver a good ride quality, but just a little bit more performance. The car also has our replacement rubber spring plate bushings, which this is the back side. We'll take a step around here and see the front. Spring plate bushings are underneath of this cover plate. There's two on each side, one here and one behind the spring plate. So very much a standard straightforward restoration, but with some very minor performance upgrades along the way to enhance the performance and handling of the car without sacrificing ride quality. The customer is here in the Bay Area, and he asked us to upgrade the brakes. And it came to us with the early S style brakes, which are a very desirable package in that they are alloy calipers on the front versus the cast iron which comes on the non-S early cars, which is a nice weight savings. But they're just two piston caliper, and the early S brakes are actually known to flex a little bit because of the alloy calipers are just not that rigid, not as rigid as the cast iron ones. He asked us to do a brake upgrade, and so what we did was we installed our respin of the 930 calipers. This is our 930 ERX caliper package, brake package, and this essentially is a modern take on the 930 style caliper, which is designed specifically to fit onto the 911 cars. And there's a few upgrades and modernization changes that are made along the way. The package works with a standard 930 rear rotor, and it accepts standard 930 brake pads. In this case, we went with Porterfield's, but any of the pads that work on a regular 930 caliper are suitable. Over here on the front, you can see the complementary front calipers, and the rotors in this case, these are actually standard 930 rotors. These are the rotors that were equipped on the floating rotor configurations, which was prior to 1987. We've made our own hat kit or adapter to fit these onto the 911 front hubs, and it establishes the right offset to fit with the calipers. And these are available in both floating and non-floating configurations. The 930 calipers provide a tremendous increase in stopping power, thermal capacity, and pedal feel. And I will tell you, having driven this car before and after the installation, the pedal feel is tremendously improved with the 930 calipers. And this car has tremendous stopping power. And I'm certain that the owner is going to be very pleased with it. Let's take a look at the ST oil cooler system. So this is a dual fender mounted cooler setup, which is modeled after the cooling systems that were equipped on the ST race cars back in the day. And here we are looking at the driver's side. So we see a second Carrera style cooler mounted here. But what's most interesting is the plumbing up at the top, and you'll see these two lines and these formed hard pipes up at the top. This is all Elephant Racing manufactured product, and this plumbs it across over to the other side. So we'll jump to the passenger side and see what that looks like. So here on the passenger side, we see what looks to be a conventional Carrera style oil cooler, and it is. However, the plumbing is quite different. And if you look up here, we see the traditional hard lines, although these are our fin lines. They have extra fins, low profile fins extruded on the surface for added cooling. But the plumbing up at the top here is where it's really different. And you can see, we call these the curly pipes. And these make the connection for the pass-through, the trunk, as well as to the cooler. And what's different about the ST cooler kit, or what's really special about it, is that it has visible hard pipes which go through the trunk area. So when you open the trunk, you can see that. So let's take a look at that. With the ST cooler kit, you have these visible hard pipes which pass through the trunk area, and this carries the oil from the passenger side over to the driver's side and back again. And this delivers a tremendous amount of cooling capacity because you've got two fender mounted coolers, but it's also a very retro race cool look, and when you open the hood and you see that, it's really nice. And this car, extremely clean trunk area. It's all been repainted and restored, and it looks very, very nice.